Welcome to Reread. Today I'm going to go through Rebel Force Target. This is book 1 in the Rebel Force series, written by the fake name of Alex Wheeler, who I am 99% is Jude Watson. But anyway, it starts off with a great opening chapter of the Emperor learning of the Death Star's destruction, and he's angry, but he's holding that anger in. He's seething and keeping it. He wants to just tear up the whole building or blow a hole into, Coruscant, but he needs to control that anger, and keep that anger will keep him strong. And that's something that Vader hasn't learned. When Vader gets angry, he just lashes out. Now this first chapter is really good because it echoes something that was said previously in Star Wars Missions, that when Darth Vader appears to him and tells him, when are we going to strike at Yavin, he says, no, we don't want to strike too soon and give those rebels, they're going to get the sympathy of the galaxy. We need to pause for a while, build up our forces, and strike when the time is right. And I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. So again, they're giving time to explain why the rebels got to stay on Yavin for so long. And it makes sense, right? If the Emperor, who can kind of see the future, says, no, if we strike now, that'll look bad and the rebellion will grow more. And he doesn't want the rebellion to grow more. He wants to squash it. But he knows that he has to have patience. Just like holding on to that anger, he must have patience before he strikes. I like that analogy there, and it is a fantastic opening chapter. He pulls together all of his admirals or captains, that Captain Thrawn is there, and when he tells them the news, he judges each one of their reactions, and he sees one of them's a traitor, one of them is, kind of worried about the Empire, maybe he has thoughts about the rebellion winning this war. The Emperor will have to teach him a lesson soon. Captain Thrawn is cool as a cucumber. He's like, yeah, that guy will go far. And I really think it's a great opening chapter to start on an adventure. Another thing that happens is the, the breaking down and building up of the man known as X7. His former life is slowly bleeding away from him. He remembers he has a sister or a wife or a daughter, and he's trying to get these thoughts back. He can't remember what they are. So his torturer, this Imperial commander, says, okay, well, you still have a few memories left in there. We're going to purge them from you. And then later on, it doesn't say how long, but he has no memories. In fact, when the commander shows him a face, he went, who is this? He goes, I don't know. And when he says that, he sees the lips moving. It's him in the mirror. He doesn't even recognize his own face now. Okay, so he is totally mind-controlled from the commander, Manchurian Candidate style. He is on a mission to infiltrate the Alliance, find out the person who destroyed the Death Star, and kill that pilot. Now, of course, they don't know it's Skywalker. No one does, which is why this whole series needs to be pulled way back, further back than Vader's quest. I'm going to put this probably happening after Marvel 24, because after a very short adventure with Luke, Leia, and Han. In fact, when it goes to Luke, Leia, and Han, it says they've been on Yavin for only a few weeks since the Death Star exploded. And of course, that's only enough time for them to have a billion adventures in between. So Luke and Leia get called before Dodonna, and Dodonna gives them a mission. They need to go to the planet Mun from Episode 3, the banking planet, or the banking clan, not from Episode 3, but the alien species is from Episode 3. They need to go there because that's the last known place that the Rebellion has an account there with some credits. They're running short on funds because they had all their funds on Alderaan. And Leia goes, well, that was stupid. That was not wise. How are they supposed to know the planet would not be there anymore? And plus, Alderaan is very friendly to the Alliance. They say that over and over again in this book and others. So yeah, they would trust them with their secret funds. Who else would they trust? But Leia goes, that was not very smart to keep all our credits on one planet. How are they supposed to know is what I wanted to ask. But Leia decides to go. Luke is going to go with her because Dodonna doesn't want him on Yavin that much, because if the Empire attacks, they may find out, because everyone wants Luke, and he, at least this way they won't capture Luke. So they go to Mun. Of course, Han Solo, he's still kind of waffling on whether he's with the Rebel Alliance, which again is why it has to be early in that Marvel series, because he was still kind of going off on his own, got Luke back into the Rebellion, and now he's still trying to get out. All right, he doesn't. I mean, he continues to stay and work with Luke and Leia, but when they go to Mun, their contact has been killed, and they are exposed. So another Mun captured them, and he is in charge of some stormtroopers. I don't know how this works. I don't think he works for the Empire, but there's a stormtrooper garrison that's under his control. And as the stormtrooper comes in and gives him some drinks of water, Luke decides, I'm going to try a mind trick on him. And he goes, hey, and the stormtrooper turns and looks at him, you want to let us go. You want to free us and let it not hold us captive anymore. And the stormtrooper pauses and goes, no, I don't, and walks out. I mean, there is some really good humor that I'd totally forgotten about this series. In fact, I don't know if I put this on my top 5 best young adult books, but I guarantee you, even after reading the first book, it's probably going to get on there if the rest of the series is like this. I'd just forgotten how much fun this book is. Later on, the Mun decides, hey, look, if you will do some pod racing for me, because there was a Doug that got killed. He was kind of helping them out, and they said, you owe me, because that Doug was my servant, and he was also one of my best pod racers. So Luke, he's seen pod racing on Tatooine. This is basically just father-son, right? Like father, like son. So he goes and joins he crashes his first pod racer. It wasn't his fault. The pod racer was defective. And then later on, he goes and gets into a pod racer and miraculously wins. And there is a Rodian. They don't say his name. And he goes, they said, wow, have you ever seen a human win? He's like, yes, I did years ago, but no one remembers that now. I was there. And so I guess he was what I like to call the fake Greedo. Not the one that got shot up by Han, but the Greedo that we see in Episode 1. And that very well could have been a retcon, because the Rodian doesn't say anything after that. Doesn't say, I remember when Anakin Skywalker did that, and look, this boy's name is Luke Skywalker. I wonder if they're related. Probably should have said that, but anyway, Luke wins the race. The Mun tries to betray them. He tries to alter the deal a little bit, saying that, yeah, I'll pay you the money you're owed, the credits the rebellion's owed, but now you owe me for that pod racer. Well, Leia finds his baby Krayt dragon that is like his pet, and she threatens to kill it if they don't let him go. And he's more worried about the pearl that's digesting inside the Krayt dragon instead of the actual pet, so he decides to go ahead and let him go. They escape. X1 basically kind of saves the day again. X7 is his name. He's under disguise as someone else. Can't remember his alter ego right now. But X7 pretends to almost sacrifice his life for the team. They don't need it. They get out anyway. And Leia decides we can finally trust him. You know, he's kind of gotten on the good graces of Luke, Han, and Leia, but they don't know whether they can trust him or not. But they finally decide to let him in. Now, he's still trying to figure out who destroyed the Death Star, and he's leaning toward Luke because Luke did some really awesome piloting skills in that pod racer. And so he reports his commander and, stay tuned for more. And of course, the adventure will continue in the next book. Overall, it's come off with a fantastic start for me. A fantastic start. I mean, the series can kind of flatline at this and probably still make my top 5. But I have a feeling that these books are going to be really, really good. And they're going to surprise me as I reread through them all. But we'll find out more about that next time.